editor of the Cartoonists India magazine. So we're going to spend the next few episodes going through the journey of how he is imbibed the eloquence of cartoons and his collections and his journey so far. So Bibek, it's a great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And talking to us.
Thank you for having me here, Victoria.
Yeah, so I would like to start off by asking you, can you tell us in brief about your journey so far from your childhood?
Yeah, I was born and brought up in West Bengal. So mostly I spent my childhood in Kolkata. Like many other people, like I was fascinated by the daily comics of Indrojal and the daily dose of Mad magazines, so Tintin and Asterix. So after that, slowly I came into the cartooning field, started working on that. So it was 2010 when I shifted my base to Bangalore, and since then I was working here, but later I came to know about the Indian Institute of Cartoonists. I got associated there, came to know all the cartoonists who were working here, including you, everyone. So that's how it is. Like now, for my work now, I'm presently based out of UK.
Okay.
But it is always pleasure to be back in Bangalore in December's every year. Mm-hmm. And meeting you all, releasing our magazine. So that's how it is.
Okay. So you talked about your passion about cartoons. Mm-hmm. Does it also relate to the work that you do as a profession, or how is it?
No, it is actually, there is no connection at all. Mm-hmm. So I, by profession, I am into the digital learning area. Okay. Uh-huh. I'm working as a project manager and a visualizer myself.
Okay.
As you said, cartooning is a very powerful medium. I also tried, in case we can use the cartooning in the learning sphere as well, because through cartooning we can actually use many things. I think it is much more meaningful, much more easier to narrate some story or some learning element through visually, which is not possible otherwise.
So you very effectively use the cartoon as a media in your digital learning?
Sometime I use, in my previous organization, I proposed that and it became an instant hit because it was actually a German engineering company. It's very, very technical in nature.
Okay.
So that's why nobody likes digital learning. It's a little boring sometimes. So we just try to see the different ways how to make it more interesting. So that time I proposed, instead of reading the lines or watching a video, can we do kind of a comic strip sometime? So we gave it a try and it was a great hit. They liked it. They said, yeah, this is something good. So something that we read it in the newspaper. Yeah. So it's that time we tried to roll out some of the courses completely based on comics and comic strips.
Okay.
So that was a good try. But yeah, now we know that the overall the cartooning as a field, it's shrinking. So there is no such possibilities in the future to hire as maybe they can involve as a full-time staff cartoonist. Yeah. But the medium will be there. I strongly believe that. Mm-hmm. And there are different other domains which are available, where they're actually looking for the creative people, and the aspiring cartoonists can also think in those lines, not only the digital learning, maybe in the animation, and there are lots of other areas of advertising as well. Okay. So there are lots of things. Even not many are aware that many of the legendary cartoonists, they also did lots of advertising design as well, including Lakshman, Mario, all. So that is also a nice medium. I'd say people should actually try their hand.
Yeah. So the other thing I would like to ask you is, now that you are you're into digital learning and you have this passion for cartoons, can you tell us how did you actually move into the cartoon field by being in your profession? And what was your vision when you set it out and set out to yourself in this space, especially when I heard that you published a few books. Why don't you tell something about that?
Yeah. was actually not into the cartoons, so I still consider myself as a non-fictional writer. So I started contributing to various magazines in Kolkata, especially the children's one. So I used to write the features. I used to write those small travelogue or articles, and it got published somehow. And maybe one of the one that you are currently holding. So
This one?
This magazine name is Anandamala. This is the first time it appeared as a cover story.
Okay.
So that time the editor asked me whether what kind of cover we should think. Then I thought why not we can do something, and it was actually on some fascinating museum around the world. So we have to cover the comic strip museum in Brussels.
Super.
So I took this photo, and then I thought why not I can add some characters. It was my tribute to those legendary Franco-Belgium comic artists like Adje and all others. So I just wanted to put everyone together. So that's how I started doing it, but not on a regular basis. It's still I was involved in writing. After that, there was a chance when I moved to Bangalore, I was also visiting many places around the world, and I actually visited some of the cities which hosted the Olympic Games and the World Cup football.
Okay.
And
can you name them a few?
Yeah, if you talk about the Olympic Games, I visited Athens, where the very first Olympic Games took place in 1896. Yeah. The first stadium, that is still there. That's the only stadium which is still there. It still exists. They hosted the first modern Olympic Games, and that entire stadium was made of marble. Okay. That's the only marble-based stadium there. So it was not a round stadium. It was like a hairpin kind of a structure. That was also a unique one. So I got a chance to visit some others, one in Netherlands. When I visited the stadium, the first time they started the cauldron with the fire. In Germany, there were twice those games happened. Most eventful one. The first one was in Berlin. We all know that during the 1934 it was marked by the Nazis and very much the involvement of Adolf Hitler. Yes. So those things are there, though they have removed those signs, the swastika signs, but definitely that is historically significant. Yes. And the other one was I think 72, where it happened in Munich, and the first time and the only time Olympic was disrupted because of a terrorist attack. So we know that it was a very unfortunate incident happened, but if you still visit there, you can see those memorials there. So lots of stories and Barcelona. So at least some 6 stadiums I've already visited, and when I start reading, I saw full of anecdotes. And those inspired you to write the book? So I thought why not I can just collate those together, but still that time I was not convinced that I thought maybe I can just write another article like I do. Then I thought there are literally plenty. You name an incident, that somehow it is linked with Olympic Games. Okay. When I started collecting this, then I thought actually I can check if I can get this published. Okay. Maybe in sequence, or if I can send it in some smaller episodes, something. I'm not a writer, I don't have any publication other than the contributing here and there. Yeah. So a friend of mine, he suggested you can try Times Group books. So he said they are good. They also encourage the newcomers. So when I shared my proposal, immediately I got a response that okay, we'll do it. Okay. So it was kind of a very positive. I was quite surprised, to be honest. So they said that by that time Olympic was almost on the corner, and even the World Cup. Yeah. So first was the World Cup book, and surprisingly it was in 2014 World Cup. During that time,
you have the copy?
Yeah, I have the copy. So this is the first book, football fun book. It was actually having some brief anecdotes. So it's kind of a fun book. So while watching a World Cup, you should read those fascinating things. Some important milestones are there. And the official sponsor, official broadcasting partner was Sony 6, and they came forward to sponsor it.
Okay.
So that was a good thing, like working with Times, at the same time Sony, and to get all this book ready, like I reached out to FIFA as well, because obviously writing a book like on the FIFA or Olympics, you have to take lots of permissions. And like even to show their mascots, logos, the evolution of the logos, so the permission is required. So I just said, like, this is my project. I'm doing it as an independent researcher. I'm just working on this one, but I need your help, because there are lots of things I cannot show it, like, unless I have a proper photograph, but I know it is there in your collection. Okay. So like maybe I can give you an example. We talk about the Olympic medals, but there is one Olympic Games in 1900. They didn't have the medal but the trophy, and that trophy is there in their museum. So while talking about that, you cannot show it without a visual.
Absolutely.
I cannot draw it that way. So we need their support. So they actually came forward and said, fine, we are, of course, like there are some rules and regulations, how it actually started in Greece, ancient Greece. So you can see those old amphoras, like where you can see those silhouette illustrations of course there is no photographic evidence, so you have to illustrate that. So that is how maybe I thought, like, I should draw some cartoons there with some speech bubble. So that was actually the beginning. So then I thought, like, let me do it this way, so that it won't be very monotonous, like not like any other book of cartoon history. Rather, it will be more fun reading, and they can get lots of fascinating stuff. So that was the idea, that I thought, like, I combined the photograph, illustration, cartoons and writing. So that was actually set that tone, like, and then I thought, like, let me just do something on the cartoon. And slowly I started.
So this was your second book?
This is the second one. First and third are basically on the football. This is a more elaborate one. The first one is like basically a fun book, like, but this is a comprehensive history of World Cup football. So you can see so lots of information here about the past World Cup, the World Cup, like the comics on the World Cup, and like how they started the merchandise, some of the famous stadiums and all. So that's how, like, I just started covering it. I visited some of their museum and the things. So it is much more comprehensive one. So this was your original. This is how you started your journey, where I can see I see you as a writer, as well as you're illustrated as well. So I see some cartoons drawn by you as well. Now, can you tell us that when you had to do both the job as a writer as well as a cartoonist, did you learn cartooning anywhere through a professional course, or how did this drawing and? No, I have not learned cartoon from anywhere, but I believe none of the cartoonists would do, because most of the institutions, they don't cover cartoons. So I learned the way others learned, like mostly from the newspapers, the magazines, the periodicals that we used to see while we grew up, those era. Fortunately, we grew up on those stage, like where plenty of magazines, newspapers were available. We could see some of the great works that time.
I would definitely want you to name them.
Yeah, obviously, like we had the lots of various like comics, like both Indian and Western that time, starting with Amar Chitrakatha, then Indrajal comics. Even the backside of the Indrajal comics, there are like some pantomime and gag cartoons were there. And there are lots of other magazines, like specifically I'll talk about the Illustrated Weekly, just to see Lakshman and Mario's work. And another magazine I used to follow is Target. Maybe a little later days, like when I first saw the works of Ajit Nainan.
Okay.
So I always considered him as my guru. And then we had like some famous characters like Gardab Das, done by the Nilav Banerjee and Jayanta Banerjee. So I used to follow those. And then I started checking, like if I can draw a comics or something. I drew something. My father was a doctor, so he had lots of those letterhead, and on the backside I started drawing my own stories and all. Doesn't make sense at all. So, but all those garbage I used to create, and I staple some 4-page comics and used to give them to my friends. So that's how it all started. But I'll tell you another story. It was sometime around 2005 when I met Mr. Philip de Ryder. So he was a football coach who came all the way from Belgium. So he was the chief coach of Kolkata's famous East Bengal club.
Oh, I see.
So he came there, and he was actually by passion he was a cartoonist too. So somehow we came to know each other, and during his tenure we both started a small cartoon studio in Kolkata.
I see.
Obviously, like we know that like you cannot sustain with a cartoon studio, but it was ahead of its time. Then we were having some web development work. That time I was a web designer, so his idea, my execution. But again, like we had to wrap up within some 3-4 months. Okay. But it was kind of a beginning. So he's the one who actually saw some of my cartoons, and he thought like I should do it more seriously. Okay. So every time he used to come from Brussels, he used to bring some comic, because I was a big fan of Tintin, especially Asterix. So I like the entire genre of Franco-Belgian comics. Yeah. So because of the subtle humor and also which I don't find it in the American stuff. So so I was a big fan, and he was basically a kind of a connection for me. So and I came to know about more other artists like works are not readily available in India, but he used to bring all those books, and then I started like studying those. And then I thought like I can also try to do something like that. So that's how my beginning of doing some serious cartooning. Okay. And that's why like when I started working on the football book, he was an automatic choice to write the foreword, the introduction, and of course like I got his guidance, because it is football and I'm not a football player. But his thoughts and his ideas, he is the subject matter expert, so he guided me in many ways. So that was a nice collaboration, and good that like we still have that connection. And like when I started my magazine, so I got an opportunity to request him to write. So that's why that connection is still on.
Okay, so he has contributed to Cartoonists India magazine.
He did. So that, of course, we know Tintin, Hergé was the most famous, but most talented was André Francois. So I came to know about André Francois through him. So he showed me lots of his works. Very talented cartoonist. So he has done the cartoon as well as the comics, and many different types of experimentation he has done. Nobody even dared to. So I thought like he's the person to write about that. So he gladly accepted, and he wrote it, and I illustrated that. So again, kind of a collaboration work.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I think this gives me a segue to ask you the next question. It kind of gives an insight about your experience of writing, and how it exposed you to do illustration, and how you self-honed skills of that of illustrating. You used it effectively, and your experience of coming up with a book like this has helped you to develop the insights, insights of to be an editor yourself, and which I think the Indian Institute of Cartoonists is kind of leveraging that, as you're the editor of their annual magazine. So that's how I think I can sum up your journey so far. But what more interests me is, tell us something about your hobbies. You also said that while you were trying to develop the cartooning skills, there were a lot of inspiration. You named a few of them. Can you tell us something about your hobbies around it, and the books that you collected of the people who inspired you? Just give us a brief about that.
Yeah, like obviously as a cartoon itself is a hobby. Like even till now, like I'm not a professional one, so it is still my hobby. But yeah, like whatever we have done now, like we also now started publishing it. That means it is becoming a serious business. But yeah, it is still a passion. So
I'm sure it's a serious business for you.
so like I never thought in that line, but yeah, like definitely when even if you are writing for something and when it is getting published and some publisher is actually spending money or we're getting a sponsorship, that means it is a serious business, not for me but for them as well. So that means there is a time frame. Of course there is a time frame that you have to complete, and you have to, because when we publish all these books, when the Olympic Games and the World Cup was around the corner, so we had to follow that very limited time frame, this very strict timeline to complete the thing and do it. So I always consider that like my professional skill set actually helped me to do this one, because by profession I'm a project manager, and that actually helped me. Now everyone is asking like documenting all this thing like Indian history, so reaching out to everyone, it's not an easy task. I said sometime maybe more than a editor, it's become a job of a project manager to bring everyone and get the thing done. So that somehow helped me, and as like I'm also writing it, like that actually helped me to have some grip there, like when I need to assign some tasks, so I can sometime give them an idea that how I need this one, how we are going to follow that. Not everyone, because some including you, so you know that topic so well, so I don't need to explain it, you know that like how you should cover. But to get a cartoonist right about their life journey, it's a challenging task. So sometimes like we have to guide them, we have to tell them like we need it to cover you that way, like even you created a character, so what was the thought process behind that. So you have to just give some ideas, thoughts, so that that would be easier even for the interested people should know from you. So that's how like it was actually kind of a complimentary. But yeah, like if you ask me about some people, definitely like as I mentioned, like Ajit Nainan was one of my early hero. Definitely Lakshman was like, that's how I started. Like I know cartoon as a cartoon, seeing his work. So obviously like in those days, like we used to have those Bengali newspapers. But because of Lakshman, only I think once a week we used to have the Times of India. So that's how I came to know about that, and then I saw more of his work, and especially I like his Indianized style, so which was mastered, and there is no doubt about that. But yeah, like Ajit Nainan's one, those more colorful ones, that actually attracted me, and I started like copying Lakshman and Ajit Nainan's work. That's how things started. And then at the same time, like I used to start collecting those books, and that became a passion now. If you see everywhere, like all these books, like I collected over like 40 years now. It actually also helped me, like when I'm editing something, it's difficult, like if you have those ready-made information with you, that is always helpful, rather than like visiting multiple places, because most of the gallery you won't find much information about the cartoons. The cartoon books, like sometimes mostly those you can find self-published ones. After some time those are not available anymore. So mostly the artists, the cartoonists themselves, they try to publish very limited editions. I tried all possible way to collect some of those cartoons with the books also. Then I reached out to many of those Editorial cartoonist family members, so they actually helped me. So I need to mention about Indian Institute of Cartoonists, like when I got introduced to Mr. Narendra. When he saw my books, he said like I wanted to host an exhibition. I was not prepared about that. It's an exhibition of what? Like now it was part of a story. So all the cartoons, whatever I've drawn, supported by some text there. So I cannot show only a standalone cartoon. That doesn't make any sense. We said like you think of something to make it a sense. Then I started thinking, and I recreated few things, so that a cartoon will come with some 2-3 lines of some context, so that they can easily read it. While doing that, like, and all this inspiration and encouragement from Mr. Narendra, then I thought, yeah, like when some publisher is showing my interest to publish it, prestigious organization like Indian Institute of Cartoonists, they're actually trying to host an exhibition So that was the first solo exhibition of my cartoons. Then I thought like it's high time I should take it seriously. So that's how it all started, with all the help from Narendra sir. And when we started this magazine, maybe I can tell you more about how we this magazine shaped up, how it came up. But over the years, working closely with Mr. Narendra, it was a fascinating journey, and it was a learning on every step.
That's a nice point that you mentioned. You talked about Lakshman, you talked about Narendra sir. You also talked about Ajit Menon. Any anecdotes that you have about Ajit Menon that you would like to share?
Yeah, Ajit Menon, it was quite a funny story, like how I got introduced to my guru. So I used to follow his cartoons. At that time it was in the Target, like the Detective Mochwala.
Yeah.
That actually caught my attention, and I used to follow Detective Mochwala comics, and that's how I came to know about Ajit Menon, his style of drawing and all. It was quite fascinating. So I used to follow that. I used to imitate his style and all. I never told anywhere, but like I started drawing my first character like following his Detective Mochwala. But then when I told that, and Menon sir laughed and he said, even I took the idea from Colonel Blimp. So,
what I understand is that you so far what we have been discussing is about your author as an author, and then the books that you wrote and how you got into illustration. You talked about the inspirations that you have, and the kind of work that you do. It's very evident from the way you described how you got into the editing of as an editor of Indian Institute of Cartoonists magazine. There's a lot of research that you do, and I see that you have a lot of collections as well over here. I would like you to briefly walk us through these collections, and when did you collect them, and what the collection is all about, and if there's anything special about the collection, like somebody has autographed it, or you had challenges in procuring it, or you accidentally procured it. We would like to hear that from you.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like I was quite envy, like when I met you and I came to know about your collection of so much, like I think some 15,000-20,000 of David Lowe cartoons and the R.K. Lakshman's cartoons that is already got awarded from Limca Book of Award. I never got a chance to collect the individual cartoons, but when I become a fan of Lakshman, I started collecting Lakshman books. So here you can see some of the original, like you said it. Initially, when all those individual issues started like publishing from the India Book House, then this is the second lot. All these Best of Lakshman, all the series, and then the Penguin one on the top, where we have those individual 12 edition of all the common man ones. So that's how like I started collecting it. But I have other cartoonists as well. So definitely Mario is there.
Right.
Then maybe I can also talk about the Amul cartoons. Like that is one of my early inspiration. So like there are 3 volumes that they published of all these like 50 years of Amul cartoons.
Amul advertising.
Amul advertising. So there are 3 volumes are there. Then my initial inspiration, like lots of animation books are also there. And then I have lots of other cartoonists as well. Though I always consider Abu's work, that is a groundbreaking work when he did about the Penguin Book of Indian cartoons. So that was the first time we came to know, okay, Lakshman was not alone, there are other cartoonists as well. So that time, like I procured when that book was published, I still consider that as my reference book. I get the names from there. Fortunately, some are still alive, and I got a chance to work with them. So that is a big opportunity, and I'm still proud of that. Like we have them in our magazine. But from all this like collection that I did over the years, I found lots of other cartoonists wherever I visited. So this part is basically you can see all the Bengali cartoonists. Like,
and I have found that you got a Shankar's autograph in England.
Oh, it was in Germany. I can show you. It is all there. I think this is the book. Maybe I can show you.
Second-hand bookshop?
It is a second-hand bookshop, and this is the souvenir that Shankar published. Like when he ceased his publication, during the
Emergency.
period. After that, he published this souvenir. It's not a very good condition one. I got it in a very small second-hand bookshop in Germany. So I found a souvenir. I knew about this, but I've never seen this book. So I purchased it. I came home, and when I checked the page, I saw Shankar's signature, and it was 1977. I verified this signature. I sent the photograph to Mr. Narendra. He said, like, immediately he recognized, and he said, like, yes, this is Shankar.
Indeed Shankar.
This is indeed Shankar. So that is one example. But you can see here, like, other cartoonists as well. Like, I am a big fan of the mad cartoonists. So you can see different mad artists here. So starting from Jack Davis to Al Jaffe to Sergio Aragon and all other people, like, you can have their individual issues, the collections. And then you can see here Gaganendranath Tagore's book. So Gaganendranath is considered the pioneer of the modern cartooning. So there is one book published where we have those original plates of Gaganendranath in color.
Okay.
So those things are there. Vasantha is the vernacular punch, which started publishing in 1874.
As old as that.
As old. So that time, like, Kolkata was the capital of colonial era. So that politics behind that, so it ran for 2 years. It was even before the Awadh Punch and other things, so that has historical significance as well.
So that is what I believe, these collections and this reading of yours and research has led to that 150 years book.
That was there, so you can see here that was another great opportunity that Indian Institute of Cartoonists gave me. So that is the exhibition that I did, and after that, like, we published this book where I just covered briefly about all this, like how the cartooning actually started in India, the early days, the formative years, and then, like, all these cartoons from Vasantha and Amrita Bajar Patrika. You can see the initial days. How the Delhi sketchbook and then, like, Indian Charivari, the British run magazine started. At the same time, like, we responded with our, so this is the first cartoon which got published in Amrita Bajar Patrika. So how, like, Britishers are teaching us the governance. So I just started collecting all this, so that actually helped me in many ways. But to organize this thing, like, I also reached out to all the contemporary people, the researchers and those historians who wrote some books on those Bengali cartoons. They actually helped me in many ways.
And this is before the CartoonistsIndia magazine.
This was before the CartoonistsIndia magazine.
And this probably laid the foundation for having a magazine. So, to see all the journey that you described so far, especially your collections, your passion, and how you've gone about collecting various eminent personalities cartoons and some of the rare books as well you showed, it really reflects the passion of yours. What I would like to know is, you have written and then you have drawn and you also have published books. You're also an editor of Cartoonists India. You stay in UK. You must be interacting with the magazines over there or the cartoonist clubs over there. Can you briefly talk about some of your published works in their exhibits and their magazines?
In UK, I got an opportunity to visit the British Cartoon Archive when I was working with our previous issue, especially on Abu's birth centenary, because I knew that Abu, as I mentioned earlier, that Abu is the only Indian cartoonist who was very much prominent there.
In fact, he began his journey there, right?
No, he began his journey with Shankar's Weekly
and then moved
Blades and other magazine. Then he went there. He was there for some 10 to 15 years. Then he came back. And he did his final years here. He was here working there. So during his heydays, he was in UK with that time. That's a significant 1 or 2 decades that he was there. So world was undergoing lots of geopolitical turmoil and war and things. So all those cartoons that he created during that time, it was actually significant. And when you are working on his person's retrospective, especially on his centenary year, you cannot omit some chapter.
Yeah.
So that time I thought like, why not I can check like if any institutions or the archives, they have those in their collection, though we have some like which we exhibited in our gallery,
Right.
but obviously like political things in UK is a little bit different, so even if you see some cartoons, we don't know the background. So if we can reach out to some archive who can actually give us those context, then it will be easier for us to relate to those cartoons.
So that's
right?
what led you to British Cartoon Archive.
So I knew that like a British Cartoon Archive is the only archive. So it is in the University of Kent in Canterbury. So inside that university, they have a library where this archive is there, and they have a biggest collection of cartoons,
Original works.
Original as well as the printed one.
Printed ones, okay.
So almost like starting with David Lowe, Vicky, Illingworth, to the current ones, and everyone in between.
Okay.
So they actually are getting some grants from the university and others, and they started this journey sometime in 1975, and then slowly changed the name to British Cartoon Archive, and they have this biggest collection. So I saw that Abu's name is also there, so I actually reached out to them that I wanted to see some of their cartoons. So then I saw those cartoons, and then I also visited the Cartoon Museum. So that is another place that any cartoon enthusiast I should recommend that they should visit. So I was quite regularly I visit the museum, and that has also helped me to get lots of information. So the then director, Joe was the director. So recently I think the new person came, but Joe Sullivan was there like during my visit. So he used to invite me whenever they had the new exhibition. So they have a private session where they discuss, and the curator will talk and all the members will come. So I got an opportunity to be there in some of those private shows. Like that way, like I got a chance to meet some of the cartoonists there. But my biggest opportunity came like when I visited the Harnway Cartoon Festival. So that is a festival that happens. It's near the Harnway is a kind of a coastal small town, not very far from the Canterbury. So every year in the month of August, they organized an exhibition. That's the only cartoon festival that happens in the southeast side of England, where most of the practicing cartoonists they attend. So one full day they have this exhibition, live cartooning. They sit, chat, and like interact with people. So it's a nice vibrant ambience. So I really like that. I got a chance to meet some of the leading cartoonists there. Of all, to name a few, Dave Brown was there. So he's the lead cartoonist of The Independent, who did his exhibition at our gallery last year. And then some other cartoonists, who quite known one, like who regularly contribute in other key newspapers and magazines like Private Eye, Spectator, Metro. So I got a chance. That is the first time I got a chance to meet, and they were quite encouraging, and they were quite welcoming when they knew that I came all the way from India, staying here, editing a magazine, and I came here to cover this event. So they helped me all possible way, and they're very happy to tell about like how this festival came into picture. So that's how like I started, and then I came to know that like now Punch is no more there, but there are some magazines they not in print but in digital format. They're still doing it. Then I thought, why not I can. So I sent one cartoon that if it is of that standard, because it's difficult to follow the British humor, to be honest. So I've seen lots of cartoons. Like I've seen I have a complete collection of Punch, but many cartoons, like even those are great cartoons, but it's a little difficult for us who are not staying in UK. You cannot follow the British humor. But I thought like based on my understanding, if I can send 1 or 2 cartoons, but they got published. So that's how it started. Like there is one digital magazine, the New Cartoonist is there. So I keep contributing the cartoons there.
Super. That keeps you busy, I will. So to some extent.
That is nice.
So do you do it as a target to be, okay, it has to come in the next magazine, or whenever you have ideas, you send it?
Yeah, it was more like I had some idea and I send it like in case you think this is a user can use it.
Okay.
And then he said, no, this is a good one. So we are going to use it in our next issue.
That's great.
So that's a good one, like to see my cartoons along with others. But that's
and I'm sure you will continue to do that.
Hopefully, let's see. Yeah.
What is your sense about the circulation and people's acceptability of that publication? How
Now, definitely it is less because now the readership is gradually reducing. Now you can see the newspapers, the dailies, and the periodicals are available in all the outlets, in the station and anywhere you go. Mainly the news agents outlets. But again, like now this generation, they don't read newspapers, so they can get everything on the mobile. But they're still publishing it. But it's quite evident that the readership is not like the previous years. But they still there are some publications they're still interested to publish cartoons.
Okay.
So I can see some good cartoons.
So what you see here is 4 years of work, right? Which is 4 magazines titled Cartoonists India, published by the Indian Institute of Cartoonists.
This is the latest one.
Yes, this is the latest one. A year before that, and a year before that, and then there's the first one. And we're talking to the editor of the magazine. So Bibek, 4 years of hard work as an editor. Tell us how this all began. What was the inspiration for this? And narrate some of the challenges and and how did you go about overcoming it?
Yeah, so the question itself is a hard one. So I'll tell you some background about this.
Yeah.
So initially, like any other cartoonist, I was invited to the Indian Institute of Cartoonists to exhibit my work. And obviously, since I was also following the cartoons, collecting the books, reading, and I was interested to see the work, I slowly got interacting with Mr. Narendra. And then I saw there lots of cartoonists, like I had never even heard of their names. And I was actually telling about, like, I grew up in Kolkata, and a place where the cartooning during the colonial era began. Yeah. So it has a rich history. But surprisingly, when I was talking about that, I realized that like they're not even aware of those names. Yeah. At the same time, I'm also not aware of some of the legendary cartoonists who worked here, right here in Karnataka. Then I thought like there is some kind of a disconnect, and I realized that when cartooning started in India, that created lots of pockets, and those indigenous cartoonists, they come over and they started drawing the cartoons mainly in the regional languages. So if you see in Kolkata or in Kerala, there are some lots of cartoonists they came over the years. They did exceedingly good job. But some of the books are written on them, but on the regional languages. Those books are available, not all, but few are still available. But again, like even if I bring a book from Kolkata, I can gift it to Indian Institute of Cartoons, but you won't be able to read. Right. At the same time, like if you have anything in other languages, like in Kannada or Tamil or Malayalam or something, we have lots of books we have in our gallery. Even you have seen those. Again, like we can just browse through the book, but you cannot like appreciate that. So there are some examples. Maybe like as I was talking about the Gaganendranath, like he was we could normally consider him as a pioneer of modern cartooning in India.
So which era are we talking about?
So it is sometime like 1917 when he published his first book. He actually published 3 books. So you can find more details in our latest edition.
Yeah.
So the formative years of Indian cartooning. So that
R.K. Lakshman was not even born.
No, not even born. It was 1872 that the first cartoon published in the Indian newspaper.
Yeah.
And during that time, like Jagannath was there. So from the Tagore family, he was the nephew of great Rabindranath Tagore.
Yeah.
So he set up his lithograph machine at his house, and he started having this cartoon. But lots of those satirical cartoons, these are the original prints in color. So
and they're all in regional language.
Or the regional language. So
it's only for the Bengalis.
incidentally, this book, where the 3 book he published, it was bilingual.
Okay.
So those books are like very rare. You cannot find those books. Then some of the cartoonists and researchers. This book was also edited by Chondilai. He himself was a cartoonist and researcher. But again, it is in Bengali.
Yeah.
So you can see we have the context and we have the annotations for each of these cartoons.
Yeah.
But even if I gift this book, it's of no use for you.
Yeah.
When we had this exhibition of a Bangla cartoon, then I just wanted to show you those cartoons which you can actually easily relate. There are some cartoons which are very much like regional. Again, that is a challenge.
Right.
So we can do it in Kolkata, but not here.
Yeah.
So here we have to show like how that time those cartoonists actually did lots of like global and the national level things. So I just collected those cartoons and I did it in English. And then I realized, that's the outcome which was published in this book.
Yeah.
So at least like it broke that language barrier. So I actually, my target was the wider audience,
right.
So that who doesn't know about the rich history of the Bengali cartoons.
So that,
glimpse of that.
So basically go beyond Lakshman, beyond Shankar, right? Yeah.
But that is another opportunity to bring all these researchers and authors together, so that they should come to this one common platform, and whatever they wrote in the regional language can actually write it in one common language, can be appreciated by all. So that was the idea that I actually proposed this, like why not we can have our one publication. So that time we never thought that it will be kind of an annual, but one book where we can actually cover the regional cartoon history. And that was the idea that Cartoonist India was our domain name. So we said like why not we can use the same name, and we can it's difficult to have a book, but we can do it kind of a magazine or a journal. And that's why we chose our first topic, the cover story as the regional cartoon. So we chose the 7 pockets, starting with Hindi, Bengali, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam and Marathi. So that's how we started. Now every issue you can find, we covered one states, like the second issue we covered Uriya cartoons. Last issue, issue number 3, we covered the Jammu Kashmir. This time we covered the North Indian belt, the Hindi speaking belt. It covers I think several states there. So that is one of the idea that when we started Cartoonist India, that we should cover at least one part of India, how the cartoon culture started, whether they have only some cartoonists or they have a history of cartoons from the past. At least we try to cover, and so that we can get an idea. And that's why it should go with the name Cartoonist India. So we are not very regional, rather we should know so every corner of the country.
And on the other hand, you're not just publishing any cartoon as such. It's a well-researched material, and it should have a depth.
For every issue, we normally check if that year is significant for something, if there are any known cartoonists that celebrated, or the legendary cartoonists who is celebrating their birth centenary. Obviously that takes the priority, that we should actually cover them, and we should have a proper tribute by the person who knew the person closely,
authentic, basically.
Authentic thing. So it's very important that whenever we are covering this thing, so we just wanted to make it more authentic, so that we reach out to the right person. It was never it was actually a curated magazine. It is not open for everyone to submit their article and we'll collect it. Rather we select the topic, then we identify who's the right person, then we reach out to that person. We just explain that we wanted to cover this way.
And I see that every magazine has something on R.K. Lakshman, so you still haven't gotten to the depth of that cartoonist.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You don't know many
Absolutely.
things about him.
And you cannot cover it in one article. So that is the even so like there are different aspects, different layers are there. So we just wanted to reach out to the right person, like who can actually narrate that thing, can explain, can analyze those work. So that is how we normally plan. So for every issue we just choose like why for this year what are the things which are important. Then of course one section about the history. Then in this section, especially in our last issue, we know that not all the cartoonists are interested in history.
Yeah.
Some are actually the caricaturists. They only draw caricatures. So we should actually bring those people together. So they just wanted to see some good art. Right.
So theme-based.
Theme-based. Yeah. So in that case, we thought why not we can invite the senior and junior practicing caricaturists. So from different parts of India who are excelled in their area. Some veteran ones who used to do it in a very traditional way, while the contemporary one who are doing it in digitally. So they can actually talk about the tips and tricks of the caricature art.
Okay.
The philosophy behind that. So caricature is not just an art, so they have their thought process behind that. So we just started a new section as kind of a masterclass, so that it would be beneficial for the aspiring budding caricaturists, as well as for all the cartoonists like us. So to know from the masters. So that is one chapter that we started, and we invited.
That's the
five,
one, right? That's the one, right?
So five caricaturists from 5 different states.
So that's Anup Ray and Prabhakar, Vairkar, Shankar, Parmati and Sparsh
Dharwal and Samadip Sinha. So 5 from Kolkata, Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai and Chennai. So we
bring them together.
So it's very difficult to bring them together to conduct a masterclass. Well, why not we can conduct a masterclass through this magazine? That's an experiment that we did. So now we released it last week. I'm sure that it will start reaching to those readers and cartoonists, and we'll get some feedback. We'll come to know that if it is there, because this is another thing that I've seen in UK. There are lots of cartoonists. They took that initiative to speak with their peers, the contemporary cartoonists, about their way of working. So those things actually documented in form of books. So we know when we see one cartoonist is talking about the other cartoonist, the caricaturist, their way of working. So we thought that is actually a good idea. Instead of doing it in a standalone format, why not we can bring some people together. So they're different on their own way of their own style. So they can actually give their ideas, thoughts, what to do, what not to do.
Great.
So that is something. So that is an idea. Maybe I'll also, if we see it generate interest, we can continue.
That's great. Yeah. So I think this Cartoonist India magazine covers features. It covers tributes to the stalwarts. There are some memoirs written by some eminent artists. You also covered history, as you talked about, and few anecdotes and masterclass. And there are some interviews and exhibitions as well. So
and some also we reproduce some of the old articles. Thought that this is a very interesting one. It actually captured some part of the history. Yeah. And those magazines and books are no more available. So we got those necessary consent from the cartoonist family. So again, publishing is another thing. Getting a permission from the thing, that is also important.
That's the challenge.
But we got a steadfast support from the cartoonist family all over India. So they helped us to do that.
Right. The copy has gone to various libraries in UK, Europe, Canada, America as well.
Yeah. So now in British Cartoon Archive and the Cartoon Museum, they have the copies.
Even in the Toronto University, a copy.
University. Now recently we are sending it to USA. So there are some cartoon magazines out there, so which is regularly they are publishing it, but they are publishing cartoons. So we just don't want to bring another cartoon magazine. So just to make it clear to our viewers that this is not a cartoon magazine. So we are not only publishing cartoons, rather our idea, our focus is basically to document the rich history, the heritage, and the chronology of Indian cartooning. So those things were never documented, and we are trying to reach out to those senior veteran cartoonists to generate that. Now we are actually started expanding our horizons. So it's this particular issue marked is like foray into the global landscape. So we started including like what's happening out there. So me staying in UK, I'm seeing like some of the events. I was part of those, even visited some of the countries. So I started including those so that we can at least get a kind of a global landscape and think how it is perceived.
You basically
today.
need to know the backbone
Yeah.
of because the cartoon itself has come from abroad.
Yeah.
Right?
How it is perceived today.
It has come from there and it has developed over here over the years. So yeah, from that perspective, it makes sense.
We are actually having an international section. So every issue will have something so that you can get an idea about a country or some of what is happening out there, or any of the major cartoonists, the centenaries observed. At least we are having some report so that you can get a complete
economically viable. Yes.
It's difficult to say, but yeah, like again, I just wanted to thank Indian Institute of Cartoonists showing that interest, and with all this guidance and support from Mr. Narendra, we at least started doing this. I'm sure it is very difficult to sustain a magazine of this quality. But again, like we tried to make the price nominal so that it is a non-profit organization, as you all know. So we are not there to profit. We are not a publisher. We just wanted to make it nominal so that it can easily reach out to the enthusiasts and the researchers, especially the researchers. They don't get any ready-made material. At least if that can help them.
This book is available through Amazon?
No. Now Blossom is actually helping us because we don't have any logistical support there. That's why we gave it to Blossom and some other bookstores in Bangalore. So they are helping us to send the books to all over India.
All over India.
Route through Amazon?
Maybe in future we have to check, because now we are busy in the exhibition, and also we don't have a proper infrastructure. As you know, that to run a magazine you have to have a proper team, infrastructure, the distribution, everything like logistics. We don't have that. So every time I know maybe this is the last one, but somehow we again we see that interest. Mr. Narendra, myself, we are constantly getting a message like whether this December we'll have a new issue. That actually very encouraging and motivating us.
And you also realize that you haven't covered something. And there's something more to cover, right?
Everything. So, like every time we do and we realize that, okay, this part, even one topic has, as I mentioned, in one topic there are many layers.
Absolutely. I don't know if you covered Gujarat.
Of course, like Gujarat, even like Rajasthan, even many cartoons, even Sudhir Telang is from Rajasthan, but there are lots of other cartoonists out there.
Correct.
So if we can sustain, if we can continue this journey, so far we have lots of support from the fraternity. Maybe many cartoonists we have not covered so far. Maybe we'll be covering. We'll cover some of the other states as well. So if it is still viable, if we can still continue this, I'm sure we can cover some more, and it will be there forever. We are trying such a way that all the issues will be available. Even you are new to this, you only came to know about this magazine, at least you can reach out to Blossom for all the 4 volumes. It's kind of we are trying to make it kind of an anthology, so that all the 4 volumes will be available, so that you can collect those.
So, dear viewers, this was Bibek Sengupta, the editor of Cartoonists India, and this is the latest Cartoonist in the magazine which has come from Indian Institute of Cartoonists. I would urge all the viewers to grab a copy of this and subscribe to this channel and watch out for future editions. What you saw today in this series was the brain and the mind behind an editor, and the effort it takes to come up with this kind of a work and keep it authentic and keep it valuable. So I hope you all will really enjoy and share this with your family and friends, and they can relish it as well. Thank you.